You're listening to the Feather and Bone podcast. Two witches talking about everything witchy and nothing at all.
I didn't know you'd started it.
Well, we were getting ready. It's been so long, she forgot how to even do it.
This is Rain, and I'm sharing a salami and cheese sandwich
with
Nyota.
Yeah, we are obviously at my house. We may randomly pause the podcast because her husband is fixing my shower. He's laying some cock to it.
I need somebody to lay some cock to me.
And he had to run to Lowe's because apparently my house sucks.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it just seems like every time he's here to fix something, it's not just I'm going to fix it. Like I'm supposed to buy a whole new light fixture for my kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And because he come just change a light bulb.
Uh-huh.
And the whole fucking fixture's just...
It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the why... Okay, she has a glass of fake tea. And I have to drink out of things that have lids. Because the cats are like, hey, what's that? And knock it over. But anyway, it has been a hot minute since we've recorded a podcast.
It's all fine.
Because of COVID-19. But our governor is officially lifting the stay-at-home order tomorrow.
In every way, shape,
form,
or fashion.
So we decided to go ahead and celebrate that a day early.
And by the way, for all our peeps here in West Virginia that have been making fun of him, West Virginia and our response, like nationally, they came out and said that he did the best job
of all the states.
Out of all the states. So y'all need to leave poor Jim alone.
Yeah. I mean, it sucked. I'm going to, it has sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But, him doing what he did when he did it, really kept our numbers low. And, of course we're going to continue to have positive cases. I mean, that's everywhere. But when you rank us with other states, we're doing pretty damn good.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and do a podcast for you guys today. And I think it was maybe even in the last podcast we had recorded, you had kind of offhandedly mentioned something about candles and like they called candle tipping or flipping or...
I had mentioned it. Gwendolyn and Ben were doing their live Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know if you call it not necessarily a class, but...
Yeah. Just like where they've been talking, in their group.
Putting out some information.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it. And so now I can't stop thinking about it.
Well, today we're going to talk about that and a bunch of stuff.
Tapeira's butt is unusually fuzzy today.
Well, because I've started running the air conditioner here a little bit, and I've noticed that she grows a little bit more fur.
Even on the little...
Yeah.
On her feet.
When it's cold, she grows a little bit more fur. It's weird. I don't know. And what's funny is that like it's in there so... Like, watch. I just pulled a little bit, and she doesn't even notice that I pulled it. Like, that's how superficial the hair is. But I was able to pull some stuff up. And okay, we'll talk a little bit first about what you did to me this morning.
I didn't do anything to you. Okay. All I can say is that's how long we've all been at home and us not being able to hang out, that you didn't even know I was fucking with you.
Yeah.
Because normally you'd have been like, fuck you.
Yeah, I thought, like, so we made this plan for her husband to come over, fix my shower, and then we would record a podcast, like, whatever. But she never, and she always does this to me, she never tells me what time. And, of course, you guys, if you've been listening long enough, you know that I am very structured.
But if we're going somewhere together, I am psycho.
Yeah, but if it's just wasting my time, you're okay being all willy-nilly.
Yeah.
So she always does this. She never gives me a time. She never tells me like exactly what time she's going to come over, what time she wants me at her house. It's just like, oh, well, when I wake up.
And then when you point out, you're like, you never told me what time. I'm like, I didn't?
Yeah. In the past, I have been like, okay, she's going to come over. So I would get up early and I would get ready. Have my whole house clean. I'm dressed. I'm ready to go. And then she finally wakes up. And she's like, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not going to come over. And I'm sitting there thinking like...
How many times have I done it? One?
Well, it's enough to make me mad. And
years I've done it once.
So I was like, okay, I'm not going to just assume, because my dad always told me that, when you assume, you're making an ass out of you and me. So I'm not going to assume anymore. I'm going to wait till she wakes up. And then, she'll tell me. So you finally wake up this morning.
It was like, what, 11?
Like 11:30. And I told you, I said, I'm not even concerned. Like, I'm still in my pajamas.
Yeah.
Like, I've not done anything for you to come over. So you're like, well, I'm going to start getting ready. And I'm like, what, now? Like, right now? Like,
as soon as I got up.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, how much time do I have? And you're like, an hour. I'm like, okay, I can deal with that. So I'm just kind of walking around the house, picking up a little bit stuff here and there.
Not even 5 minutes later, I go,
Yeah.
I took my vitamin. I go, okay, I'm ready. She got so pissed.
I did. I was like, I said, if there's one thing in our friendship that just really pisses me off, this is it.
And I was joking with her, and she couldn't even tell.
And she laughed. And I thought she was laughing at just me being angry.
No!
So I am psychotically running around my house. Like, she can hear me breathing hard and
I
everything.
waited like 20 minutes.
Yeah. And I'm like, because I can't shower this morning because her husband's coming over to caulk the shower. So, like, I can't, so I'm starting to sweat now. And I'm like, this is gross. I have company coming over. Now I'm sweating. And I'm still running around the house like mad.
Just bitching.
And she's just letting me go.
I was laughing at her.
She hears me sweeping. She hears me running a vacuum. And she's just letting me go. And I get real quiet because I'm angry. And she's just listening to my silence. She finally's like, did you not realize I was joking? Oh, my God.
You go, no!
I said, well, if you're, and now I've been psychotically getting ready for like 30 minutes now, okay? And I'm like, well, if you're not coming over now, I'm going to have a cold beverage.
You did. I'm going to sit down and have a cold beverage. I was like, I'm not even dressed. Like, I was just laughing at you, hanging out. Tweezing my eyebrows while you're psychotically cleaning your house.
So that happened this morning. And she's still laughing at me.
That's how long it's been since we've gotten to hang out.
Yeah.
You've forgotten I can be a real jackass.
Yeah. So anyway, so that happened this morning. So we're going to talk about candles. And normally I put down the website that I used, and that's how long it's been since we've done this that I forgot to put the website on this as well.
Oh.
So if after you listen to this, like you decide you need to know, you can put it in the group or whatever, and I'll look it up for you again. But so we're going to talk about 3 different things.
Oh, okay. I need to say something. You and I tease each other mercilessly all the time.
Yeah.
And we enjoy it. Like, it's fun. It's what we do.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for half a decade. Like, it's what we do.
Yeah. Half a decade.
I had to make it seem as long as I could.
Yeah.
We just do.
Yeah.
Because you and I are able to we laugh at ourselves.
Yeah.
All the time. We don't really have pity parties about ourselves once in a blue moon. But
yeah.
We have a good time with each other. So, but whenever I pick on you in the group.
Yeah.
Like those 2 pictures of you as a kid.
Yeah.
You had sent me those.
Yeah. And I even told you, I was like, you can put those in the group if you want.
You're like, you can make fun of me in the group if you want.
Yeah.
And then I post those photos. And I can just feel everybody like, I can't believe she's making fun of her.
So I went in there and I thought, like, I'll make it funny. And I'll put a picture. And that picture of me, like, I'm in my pajamas.
Yeah.
And it was not meant to be like this glamorous, like, this is a really good photo of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't just grow up. I glowed up. I'm in my pajamas. My hair's a mess.
So then yesterday, I posted, because you and I were on the phone. I don't remember what we were even talking about.
Yeah, we do this a lot. Like, we end up in these random conversations.
Yeah, it was something totally random. It wasn't anything serious. And
I just kind of offhandedly said, Oh, we were talking about how, like, on that, like, 600-pound life and all that, like, those women always have these guys.
They do. Okay, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and it's like, and we're talking, like, they're not catches or anything.
Yeah, and you go, I know why I'm single. It's because I have standards and because I'm fat.
Yeah.
And we both just busted
thought
out.
that was hilarious.
We thought it was so funny. So I posted in the group. And it was like all of a sudden everybody's like, no.
Oh, Biff.
It has nothing to do.
Someone will love you for who you are. You know, that's not what it was. Like, I know, like, I'm fat. Like, anyone who looks at me, like, if you're saying anything other than she's fat, you're being kind.
What's like me?
You know, I know who I am. I know what I am. I'm fine with it.
I have a thick waist and no ass, and I love myself to death.
Yeah.
So, guys, when we make fun of each other in the group,
yeah, or even of ourselves,
we're not hurting each other's feelings.
Yeah.
It's our whole friendship. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Now, if some stranger walked up to me,
Yeah.
it was like,
see what, and I think what a lot of people don't know, because there's not really a lot of pictures of me from that time in my life, that I'm actually about 100 pounds lighter than I was
yeah.
previously. So, like, believe me when I say I have a positive view of my body. Like, I, you know.
You and I do like ourselves.
Yeah, we do. And when we do, like, it's just, we have this different friendship than even what most people have.
Yeah.
Even when we're picking on each other, like, we're both usually we're on the phone with each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, say this, or you're like, no, you type this. You know, so it's like, we, you know, when we do that with each other, we're both fully aware.
And when we go back and forth in the comments in the group with the GIF things picking on each other, every time we are on the phone with each other laughing hysterically.
We're not even talking to each other besides like, I just updated it.
And we're just sitting there giggling like, look what I just posted.
Yeah. And like, we'll post something and we'll giggle and we just kind of wait in silence.
Yeah.
For the other person to see it and then laugh and then, like, you get silent and then you post something and giggle. So
we've spent hours upon hours doing that.
Yeah.
It's just a plastic bag, honey.
Yeah, you can't eat plastic. You ate ketchup packets once and look what happened.
That would clog your butthole. Bad. It's gone.
Nyota.
She's okay.
Jeez. Okay, so let's get back to candles. We're going to talk about 3 different forms of candle magic. Now, of course, we all know, like, you know, where you can carve sigils into your candles, you anoint them with oils. You know, we've touched on the colors in previous podcasts. So I didn't want to kind of go over that stuff again because we've done it, you know.
Your dog almost deleted a bunch of text messages on my phone.
So when you die, that's who we give the phone to.
Yes.
So that she can handle.
Give it to the dog. She's like, I got this.
So we're not going to go over that stuff. We've done that in other podcasts, and you know, there's a plethora of information out there.
Like, you and I, guys, you don't have to be like supremely what you consider witchy with it. I mean, if you're wanting some dick, draw a fucking dick on a candle and light it. You know,
yeah, you don't have to, like, go on the internet and order a phallus shaped candle. You know, you don't have to do that. You can even just write the word dick on a tea light candle. You know, you could write dick and then an arrow pointing towards you. There you go. You know.
Oh, I know this. So I was giving somebody I know advice on attracting. There's a guy she really has the hots for, and he'll flirt with her, then pull back, flirt with her, and then pull back. And they were meeting up to be together for the whole day, and she had wanted advice. And I told her that I had read it in one of my dark magic groups I'm in.
You just said redded.
Redded? Oh! I had read it in one of my dark magic groups. That women, a lot of witches will stick their fingers down in their
vajajas.
In their hoo-ha.
Mm-hmm.
In their cupcake. Their love muffin. What else could we go? Their beaver.
Do you know that my name means dweller at the edge of the beaver's meadow?
I believe it. And they'll get some of that, you know.
Yeah. Pussy juice.
The moistness
Pussy juice.
on their fingers, and they'll put it on their pulse points, like where you would put perfume, like on your neck and your wrist.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I'm doing it. Do you know she did that, and he fucked the dog shit out of her. He couldn't keep his hands off her.
Yeah. Because it's pheromones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ladies.
Before you go out on a date, just put your finger in your vagina and
rub
it on your neck. Anyway. Hey, can you use your phone to track your husband so we know when he's getting close?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. This way, because like my new phone, I'm going to have to unlock it and stuff. I don't have the settings the same to turn off the recorder.
If he has his phone. Because he's
Yeah.
notorious for...
He's like, I'm going to go to Lowe's. I'm not going to let my wife know.
Hey, he has his phone.
Hey, there you go.
It's at 21%.
Jesus.
He's in Lowe's.
Okay. He may be back soon. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is budding. Butting. Okay, you can giggle if you want to.
Sounds kind of sex. Do we say it?
Sexual.
Sexual.
So budding is a powerful technique used to turn something on its head. In fact, it's how you do the famous witch's trick of burning candles upside down. So this is like what you were talking about with the flipping. Okay. So
Yeah.
so it can also be known as budding. To begin, you're going to hold the candle upright and look at the top. Notice that most candles
Like
are
where the wick's coming out.
Yeah. That most candles are like a cylinder with a crayon-like tip. Okay.
Okay, so you're talking like a chime candle.
Yeah, or a taper candle. You know, as long as it, kind of looks like a crayon with the wick coming out of the tip of it.
Okay.
With a sharp knife, you're going to carefully cut the tip off so that it's flat.
Where the wick is.
Yes.
And you're cutting the wick and all.
Wick and all.
Okay.
This way, the candle becomes a cylinder with two flat ends.
Okay.
Or as flat as you can make it while you're cutting that tip off without cutting your finger off.
You're circumcising your candle.
Yes. Or would it be a castration? Because you're...
You'd have to cut the balls off to castrate it.
True. Never mind. So then you're going to turn it upside down so that the base points up and the old tip is now pointing down to be the new flat base. The old base is now the top and it needs to be carved. You're going to use the same knife to whittle the wax into a point, exposing the wick.
So
Thus,
we're on the butt end of it.
Yeah, you've now flipped it, and what used to be the top is now the bottom, and the bottom is facing up. Okay. You're going to start whittling away at the wax to create a new tip. Okay.
I can whittle. I'm from West Virginia.
Let's see, I lost it. Okay, yeah. So that way the candle is flipped upside down, and you're going to burn it now from what used to be the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
This is useful when doing reversal work, as most double action candles, where there is a bottom, where the bottom is black and the top is a color like white, red, or green, they're meant to be budded to create the reversing effect. So, because I think you've probably seen online where you can order like the candles where
double wicks,
like
one on each end.
Yeah.
So this is for reversal.
That's one of the things you can use it for.
I've never personally wanted to reverse anything.
Well, I think you're being too narrow with it. Like if you think maybe someone has cursed you, you could do this as to reverse that magic off of yourself as well.
I got you.
Yeah.
So a return to sender type.
Yeah.
You and me, when we think somebody's done something to us, we just light a candle. We're like, no.
Yeah. Stupid bitch.
I don't think so, bitch.
And usually what we do is if it's happens so rarely that we think that there's something working against us because we're just like, it's not going to happen to begin with.
I think the only time we thought it, and then we decided it wasn't the case, was one time with you. And that was, we talked about it for like a minute and a half, and we're like, no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like that's just not something that we really concern ourselves with because we've always set the intention that like you can't touch us.
Yeah.
Like that's sorry. I don't want to sound conceited or anything, but like we're badass. So we're like, there's nothing you can do to us.
And it goes along with the whole speak what you want into being.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
But that's the whole, and you know, what kind of makes me angry is that group that we had been a part of, they made that seem like this really mystical, watch this shit.
I'm watching. Okay, it stopped.
She picks on the dog all the time. The hairless cat got up, and I thought she was going to smack the dog in the face, because she does it for no reason. Mm-hmm. She goes out of her way to walk up to the dog and be mean to her.
And the dog was looking at us like, help.
Yeah. But anyway, they made this whole candle flipping thing sound like this like big magical, like once you get to a certain level, we'll teach you the mystic art of candle flipping.
And then wouldn't tell.
Yeah, wouldn't tell us the purpose of it, how to do it, nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean that's basically it.
Yeah. Wonder if you could because you know how you and I don't spend a shit ton of money on supplies.
Yeah.
We get the tea light candles.
I would say probably a good 95 to 98% of our magic involves tea lights.
Yeah.
Sometimes we may mix it up and get colored tea lights.
Oh, I know we're in a podcast, but I just remembered something I wanted to tell you 3 weeks ago.
Is it something that can be shared with the group?
Yes.
Okay, carry on.
Next time you and I have one of our big rituals, I want to use the floating candles for our spell work.
Okay.
There, I said it. Now I can forget and you can remember, and it'll happen. That's how we work, guys.
I know that we have a bunch of those black tea light candles. If we do something, if we use your idea between now and Samhain, but I would like to use the black ones at Samhain.
That's cool.
For the aesthetic.
She did her flourishing hand.
Aesthetic. So, I mean, that's basically it. So, and some of the things that you might use the flipping or budding for, would be a reversal, or if you want to turn a situation on its head, let's say that there's someone at work that's always getting the best of you. Then you could do magic and turn that situation on its head, so that now they're going to start getting the type of treatment that you were getting.
I wonder if you could do that. Well, I'm sure you could.
You can do anything with magic.
But I was thinking if you're trying to cause disharmony in a relationship.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could represent that before you turn it, they were unified, everything was working perfectly.
Like the candle is the representation of the relationship.
And then you turn it on its head. You turn it upside down.
And you're just like, oh,
yeah.
Oops.
Oops. And I'm not saying that all traditions are bad. But I'm saying that there's a lot of stuff that people purposefully mystify because it draws people in.
Yeah.
And they're like, we know things that no one else knows. We do things no one else will do.
So, I know this is off topic.
Well, it's kind of what you do.
That's who we are. Well, who I am. But, the girl that I'm teaching to read tarot and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually turned out to be a pretty good card reader.
I've always said everyone has a little bit of psychic ability. They just have to recognize it.
But her sister has her own psychic, whatever. And she was telling me last night, she's like, she was texting me and says, I talked to my sister's psychic. And she mentioned you. And I'm like, oh yeah. She goes, she said you're pagan. Are you pagan? I had sent you a screenshot of it. I said, bitch, I'm pagan as fuck. I'm a witch.
You're like, it's in my DNA.
How could you not know?
Yeah.
Anybody who spends any amount of time talking to me or around me knows.
Yeah. Especially because you're teaching her tarot.
I know.
I was like, is she clueless?
Yeah,
is she how because anyway, that was funny though.
It was pretty funny.
So the next, because I told you we're going to talk about 3 different things to do with candles. The next one is one that people don't really understand, and it's the act of loading a candle. Loading is different than dressing, okay, which is largely done on the outside of a candle. Loading is the act of putting things inside the candle. This can be done one of two ways. Most commonly, the bottom of the candle or the flat part is carefully hollowed out with a sharp knife. Don't get carried away. This should simply be a small crater, no bigger than what you absolutely need. So if you already know what you want to put in it, then you would just carve out enough to put that in it. If you make it too wide, you risk cracking the candle. If your candle is really narrow, you may want to use a flathead screwdriver instead. Using this technique, you can add herbs, oils, personal concerns like hair, photo, fingernails, if you have that kind of stuff. Petition papers, all that kind of stuff inside the candle.
You and I when we're using hair, we'll light our spell candle and then burn our hair with the flame.
We are very. I don't want to say that we're lazy witches, because that's not the case.
I'd say we're practical.
We're practical witches.
Yeah.
If we had time to set and carve out a candle and do because we do very complicated magic sometimes.
Yeah.
But most of the time when you and I are doing magic, there's an immediate need.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go to our altar. Let's get our candles going. Let's deal with this.
Yeah.
We don't have time to hollow out a candle.
Right.
To hide stuff in it.
Now, I get that doing all that work would put an awful lot of intention into the candle.
Yeah.
But you and I are real big on, you can just put it in your pocket and carry it around all day.
Yeah.
With you and think about what you're wanting to happen and stuff. But intention is intention.
Yeah. The second way to do that would be, instead of going through the base, you tunnel in through the side. This is often done with pillar.
That's what I would want to do.
Yeah, this is often done with pillar candles or votives, as they tend to be thicker.
You said thicker.
Thicker. You risk cracking your candle in half with anything thinner. Either way you go about it, be sure to close up the hole when you're done, so the items are fully inside. Do this by lighting a smaller candle of the same color and dripping the wax over it to seal it once more. This author talks about using the loading technique to set the core tone for slightly more complicated work. For instance, combining a love spell and a luck spell in one candle to produce
a luck spell?
Where you would have luck.
Oh, I was thinking LUX. I'm like, I don't even know
Luck.
what that is.
Luck. For instance, combining a love spell and a luck spell in one candle to produce a lucky love spell. She talks about choosing pink or red candles and load it with love herbs and oils. Then she would dress the outside of the candle with luck herbs and oils. This way, the core of the spell is based on love, but it's infused with luck. That makes sense. Or if you're doing protection work, she'll put some of if she's protecting for herself or someone else, she'll put the hair or a photo inside the candle and dress it with protection oil and herbs.
I'm in a shit ton of magic groups on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Tons. Most of them are dark, what they call dark magic.
Yeah.
But in every group I'm in, people have talked in great depth about how no one has ever been able to pull off a successful love spell.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any thoughts on why that wouldn't work. I was wondering if you might.
Well, I think that maybe that comes down to, because most people, when they start, dabbling in this,
the first thing they want to do is love.
Yeah, and that's the first thing they're warned against. Mm-hmm. That's one of the big ones. You that's affecting free will. You never do love spells, and I think that even just having that thought placed in their mind that early is like that. They're like, it's not going to work.
Well, I counted. There's 47 different instances where I was reading in the comments. I know I'm anal. I'm weird. But, witches were commenting on these people's posts wanting advice on their love spell. And they're like, listen, everyone I know, every time I've tried to do a love spell, it does the opposite of what I want.
Yeah.
So that seems to be a real common issue.
Well, and I know that I've done, I've never done a love spell on a specific person. But I have done love spells to draw people into my life. Mm-hmm. And they've been assholes every time.
Yeah.
What has been attracted?
Yes, every time we've done magic for you.
Yeah.
I
do meet somebody and I usually have anywhere between a 4 and 8 month relationship with them.
Yeah.
But they're assholes.
Yeah.
I mean, they are not at all what's suited for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I'm trying to figure out what it is about that.
Yeah.
And because we're not Wiccan, so we think differently on it. But I don't know.
So, I mean, I kind of like the idea of loading a candle. You know, if we were going to do a piece of magic that we were like, okay, we're going to make this more complicated. We're going to put a lot more intent into it by making more steps.
Every time we do that, we explode stuff.
We do. But I like that idea.
When we do long, drawn out, detailed spells, we pretty much need to start wearing fireproof hazmat gear.
We've broken mirrors. We've busted candle holders.
Yeah.
I remember the one day with the candle holder busted, and your daughter was sitting there, and she was like, "Magic is so fucking awesome!"
Yeah. I don't remember what we were working towards, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So the last, it was a curse.
Was it a curse?
On
her father, and she didn't know it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the last technique that she talks about is waking or programming your candle.
Huh.
This is found frequently in folk magic, where there's a tendency to treat everything like it's alive. The idea being that
I did dib. Yeah.
Yellow hubby bib.
You remember? I would do that in the car. Yeah. Finally, you looked it up, and that actually was what he was saying.
Yeah.
Yellow hubby bib.
Anyway.
Sorry.
The idea being that you wake the candle up so that its spirit is active, and then you give it instructions. The waking portion can be done.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. When I was doing this, I was like,
So basically,
it's kind of like we were talking about, like
the plant,
the fetishes.
Yeah. How I made my plant and named it Prosperity.
And you know what?
I've been watering the shit out of that.
And since that happened with your husband's claims and all that,
everything's been going well.
Yeah. So this is kind of similar. The waking portion can be done a few different ways, but the most common method is to tap it on a hard surface like your altar top 3 times. Simple as that. The next step is to program it in one way or another. This part also varies between traditions, but there are 2 methods that this author prefers. The first is rolling the candle. You roll it across a surface. Your work table or altar is fine. To set the overall energetic intention. Candle wax absorbs and records energy and instructions really well, so you don't have to overthink it. Roll it away from you 3 times if you're getting rid of something or doing work that you consider outwardly projective, banishing, blasting, cleansing, cursing. Roll the candle towards you 3 times if you want to bring something in, like love, prosperity, protection, that kind of stuff. This simply lets the candle know if you want to pull in or push away. The other method, that's interesting. The other method of doing this is to simply hold the awakened candle to your mouth.
The awakened.
Awakened.
I know it's not what you said, but that's what my brain wanted to hear.
Awakened. The awakened candle to your mouth and speak your intention into it.
Now, we do that a lot.
Yeah, we do. This is a fairly modern method. The rolling is old school, but both work well. No matter which you choose, they set the tone for the rest of the dressing and fixing you do to the candle before you light it up. So I think, like, what's funny is I started this research to find out the candle tipping for you, or flipping or budding or whatever they call it. Because you were like, I'm really pissed off that I was never able to get anybody teaching me to answer that fucking question.
Yeah, that really pissed me off. I'm sitting here thinking about what you just talked about. So it's like they're viewing the candle as like a living thing.
Mm-hmm. Like it has a spirit.
Saying, I need you to do this for me.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, everything is energy.
Yeah.
I'm going to be chewing on this one for
Yeah.
You'll be getting a phone call from me in 3.5 days. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got it.
And what's funny is like that to me, that's the most interesting thing of the 3 methods we just talked about.
Now I want to go home and find something to do magic for.
Yeah, just to take that baby for a spin.
Yeah.
So then I thought, like, because we also get asked a lot about the flames. And, what does this flame mean? What does that flame mean?
I don't really know. Like, I will admit, with different spells we do, sometimes shit'll burn fast. Sometimes it'll burn slow.
And we're using all of the same paper, the same ink, the same, we've even lit off the same candle.
Because we use, I buy this recycled, I know this sounds gross, but it's just paper, but it's recycled elephant poop paper. And we like using it for spells because witchcraft.
It's earthy.
Nature.
Yeah. And it burns nice.
It does.
Yeah.
So, but we've had, now, if you load the top of your candle with too much shit, which we've done.
Yeah.
Your candle won't burn well.
Can barely get the flame to stay.
Yeah. Now, you got to keep that in mind. But remember I did magic once and the flame was tipped sideways and running sideways?
And we were like,
what the fuck?
How does that happen?
So, I've read that if it burns strong and fast, it's something that'll come to you quickly.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a slow burn, it's something that's going to
take a little bit of time.
But
So I found some stuff.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that.
But me, when my candles are burning, I'm like, well, the air conditioner's on. There's a fan blowing.
Yeah.
I'm like the guy on Ghost Hunters.
Yeah. We're both like that, though.
Yeah.
We're wanting to look for, like, what is the mundane reason that this is happening? But like you said, we're using the same paper, and when you burn yours, it's just a flame. But when I burn mine, it's green.
Yeah,
like
that's happened to us a lot.
Like, why the fuck is this green? When we're using all the same stuff. So it talks about a clean, steady, and strong burn. Generally means a green light for your intent is clear, and that your spell, prayer, whatever you're calling it, has been successfully sent. Especially if the candle is burning in glass where there's no wax residue. Because you have to think, too, that sometimes the flame will react to, blackening where, like, if the candle's down inside a votive or something and the glass is turning black, like, that's going to affect how your flame is performing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of soot in your candle holder,
it'll affect your flame.
Really?
Yeah. A clean, steady, strong burn means that everything's A-okay. The universe has received, what you've sent out. A slow, weak burn could point to a spell that you may have to continue to do.
Or you've put too much shit on your candle.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing too. Like, now, if where all we've done is put some oil on top of it, and we're getting a slow, weak burn, then I might say, okay, there's something, going on with this. But if you've loaded the top of it so full that, like, the fire can't reach the wick, or it's not, the fire can't melt the wax underneath because there's so much on top.
Here's a tip, guys. She and I have screwed up so many times overloading our stuff. We try to put, because we use tea light candles.
Yeah.
They're flat. We try to put our stuff around the outside edges now and not right up against the wick. And that seems to make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. But if it's slow or weak and it's not any of those mundane reasons we've talked about, it could be that it's a weakly conducted spell.
Well, we've had candles we've done where it starts crackling and popping. And we never could figure that out because we've used the same ingredients on our candles and it didn't do that before. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's people, we've talked about this too, where someone's constantly trying to find a magical reason for everything that happens. Sometimes it's just what's happening. There's nothing magical behind it. But they said that one thing you can do is if you've kind of ruled out all those reasons why your flame may be weak or slow to burn, to focus your energy on it again and, like, really, and then see if your flame gets bigger.
Yeah.
Hissing, sizzling, cracking, or popping.
Okay.
Listen closely. The one whom the message is directed is responding. They're saying the universe is responding when that happens. A spirit or ancestor may be trying to work with you. The louder the sound become, the stronger the will to communicate with you.
That
I don't really follow with that because there's certain oils. Is your husband here?
It doesn't show that he's here.
Well, I think he is.
We should pause it.
Yes, we are.
Yep, he's here. It didn't update.
Pause. Okay, we're back.
You have a new shower head?
I do. I'm going to have to figure something out. I don't know who put that shower in.
Same person that did your light fixture.
Because, the shower head comes out of the ceiling.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's straight down.
Yeah. And, bigger showers, I've seen that, in fancy showers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a fancy shower.
No. I've seen it in, on movies where they have, the big stone walk-in showers.
Yeah.
But
I have a 3-piece fiberglass shower stall. But anyway. So,
they were like, I don't want the water in my face. I want it directly on top of my head.
And I can't tell you how many times when I first moved into this house, I almost drowned myself. Because I'm used to tilting my head back.
Yeah.
And I would tilt my head back and just water up the nose.
You're like, I almost died.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not really sure where we left off. Oh, we were talking about the hissing, sizzling, cracking, popping. Okay. We're not really sure about that. There's all kinds of reasons why your candle may hiss or sizzle or pop. Obviously, if you're using a candle with a wood wick, that hissing and popping and sizzling you're hearing is supposed to be happening because it's a wood wick.
My friend Heather bought me a really nice wooden wick candle for Christmas, and it's so pretty. I haven't lit it yet.
I have a wood wick one.
Have you used it yet?
Oh, yeah.
Do they burn longer than...
Not really.
It's the same?
Yeah.
But do you have to trim them and stuff?
No, well, you have to kind of knock the... sometimes with a wick, you'll have this big curled, charcoal burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. But,
okay.
Yeah, it's not anything more than a normal candle. But there's so many reasons why that could be happening. Especially if you've put dried herbs on top.
There's one we use that we notice always pops, and I can't remember what it is. I've been trying to think of it so we can tell people. You and I tend to stick with the same.
Yeah, I'm
basic.
trying to remember which one it is that burns.
Is it cinnamon?
I think it is. I think when we put powdered cinnamon.
Yeah, if we put too much, it'll start.
Yeah,
cracking.
Because cinnamon is flammable.
Speaking of that, the little piss ants you hate?
Mm-hmm.
Chris posted on his timeline the other day that if you sprinkle cinnamon around your sink and in your sink, they'll stay away because they hate that shit.
Oh. What can you do for those little fucking pecker gnats? Because
bowl of vinegar with a drip of dish liquid in it.
Because this house, every year.
That's how I take care of mine. I'll spray bleach in the sinkhole, in the drain, in the drain. And I have a little bowl of vinegar with some dish liquid in it. And you'll go check it in a day or two, and it's just full of dead, whatever they're called.
Pecker gnats.
Fruit gnats.
Pecker gnats.
What?
That's what my dad always called them.
Is that another Webster count?
Yeah, well, that's what my dad always called them. So they're pecker gnats. So I guess when it comes to the hissing, and you're going to have to decide, if
now if it's a candle that doesn't have anything on it,
yeah. Well, but even then, I would be like, okay, where did you buy it? Because
you'll be like, was it made in China?
China.
I couldn't resist.
Because the tea light candles from the Dollar Tree are cheaper. Cheaply made. They burn different. The wax is different. Everything.
Now, I know you have used a lot of candles from the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
I prefer the Walmart.
Dollar General.
Or Dollar General.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but when it comes to my candles, I feel like Dollar Tree's just
You're like, that's taking a little too cheap. So the next I talk about is an unsteady, jumping, sputtering, or flickering flame.
That's when you need to trim your wick.
Yeah. It says as long as there is no draft in the air, there may be resistance to what you're trying to do. which I don't
I'd
agree
say
with
you're
either.
resistant to trimming your wig before you light your candle.
Try putting more willpower and energy behind your intention. If you are directing a spell towards somebody, they could be picking up on it and working against it, consciously or not. The higher the jumping flame, the more resistance there is. Again, I think that you and I don't look at a jumping, flickering flame as a bad thing. If anything, we'd be like that. That's...
We're like, I hope something doesn't catch on fire.
Yeah.
Because when that happens, the flame is usually bigger.
Yeah.
Because the wick is too long and hasn't been trimmed.
Yeah. Like if you start off with a brand new candle and it's got like 2 inches of wick.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll just start the wick right here. The next she talks about is puffs of white smoke. Apparently, if you see puffs of white smoke, that means that there's a blessing upon you. It's a good sign, and it indicates that your intentions were heard and will be granted.
I've never heard that.
I've never heard that.
Not saying it's not true.
Yeah, that may be like just a personal thing for her, or maybe it's a tradition thing. Like, I don't know.
Like if spirits are trying to let me know something, they'll just talk to me. And then I ignore it.
You're like, they just talk to me.
They do. And then I ignore it, and then I tell you about it. Then they start sending punch you in the face signs, and you're like, dude.
Yeah.
They tried to tell you. You wouldn't listen.
You're like that, though.
I know.
It seems like the closer someone is to you, the more resistant you are to listening to what they say. Whether they're dead or not. Because I have told you you to read this.
Jamie. She has been butthurt for 2 weeks because I started reading that Men of the North series.
And I had told her about that series
like
literally a year ago.
Yeah, and when I mentioned it to her, I told you should read that, but no. Somebody else told you should read it. So now, she's been trying for years, trying to get me to read that one with the horny parasites. And
it's called Ice Planet Barbarians.
And I don't want to read anything that involves a fucking parasite. So she's on the phone this morning.
As I'm angrily cleaning my house. I'm already mad at you, so I'm just going to be mad about everything.
And Jamie, she's like, I'm just going to have to tell Jamie to read it, and then Jamie will say it's good, and then you'll read it super quick. Because you don't listen to me. You listen to everybody else. Over a romance novel. So, Jamie, even if you read the Horny Parasite series, I will resist.
No. It's a good series. The premise is it's sci-fi. It's sci-fi romance. Okay, so yeah, it's out there. But anyway,
is it like Men of the North?
No, because they're alien barbarians on a planet.
Do they look like us?
Kinda. They have horns. They're blue. They only have like 3 or 4 fingers. I can't remember, instead of 5. They're really tall.
But the women are from Earth, right?
Yeah. I think they have tails. I don't really remember.
So it sounds like Avatar, but with horns.
Yeah, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I never really made that comparison, but yeah. Maybe they don't have... I think they have tails. Yeah, they have tails. I remember that now.
Are they hairy?
No.
So they're like Tepera. They have a tail. Not hairy.
She has given me
With horns.
squinty...
Stink eye?
Yeah. Like, don't you dare compare me. Anyway. So we talked about white smoke. Apparently, puffs of black smoke means that somebody or something is in the way and perhaps working against you. Negative energies might be fought or purged. Okay.
Wow, I can tell how you feel about that just by the way you were.
Yeah, it again, it's that whole black and white thing. You know, just because something like is dark, black, automatically people think it's an evil, and they think it's a bad sign, and they think, it just, that pisses me off. You know, what if the white smoke really means?
You're just angry today.
Well, I am a little bit. The next one is vanishing.
You didn't think I was going to come over, did you?
I wasn't sure.
I'm surprised you let me here.
I think the only reason that you came today was because your husband was going to fix my shower. I think if it hadn't been for that, you'd be like,
No, I would have come.
Okay.
I expected you to cancel because technically we're still in quarantine till tomorrow.
I went to my mom's yesterday, and like my whole fucking family basically showed up. I had broke.
And you've been psycho about the quarantine.
Get down.
She's like, I'll smack you with a shower curtain.
No.
What is that?
It's animal perfume,
Oh.
but she's scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I figure if I spray it at her, she's going to smell nice and be scared.
Oh. Gotcha.
Win-win. Anyway, vanishing flame. I guess if your candle just burns out before it's supposed to. Either your intent is insufficient or the spirit in question may disagree with your motives.
So just not making fun of her.
Mm-hmm.
But so I take it from what you said throughout this whole thing that she thinks every time you're doing magic, you're working with a spirit.
Yeah.
That's going to help you. Okay.
And that's okay if that's where her magic comes from.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's how she does it. I have noticed that, like, certain things are automatically bad to her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the flame going out means that, you know, someone may be working against your, you know, what you're trying to do, or, you know, that you need to question what you're doing and try again.
You know, some people really like making things a lot more mysterious. And I'm not going to say the word I was going to say.
Well, pagans, we do have a flair for the dramatic.
Yeah, if you're a pagan, you like being different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Usually, like if we're having trouble keeping a candle burning, one, we've either put too much on it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've even noticed some of the oils that we use that won't really allow the candle to burn all that great.
Right.
I've noticed because you have the sprays, and if we use the spray on top of the candle, usually we have a hard time getting it lit.
Right.
And getting it to stay lit.
So now we spray our spell paper.
Yeah. So, you know, there's all kinds of reason why that might be happening. It's not automatic that what you're doing you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
You know? Relighting the flame, I guess this is if it's vanished and now you've had to relight it. Your intentions are still being considered by your spirits. There is still work to be done. Keep focusing. So
they only vanish on us when we were using the Dollar Tree candles.
Yeah. Shut up. I tell you what, there was that one.
Now watch in the group. You shouldn't pick on Beverly.
Yeah,
Dollar Tree.
better Dollar Tree. But remember we at the Yule ceremony, and the fucking lighter wouldn't work.
It just quit working.
But I'm using it today. I brought it home. It works fine.
Yeah.
So like I would put some meaning behind that. We were only supposed to light 13 candles that day.
And we had a bunch.
Yeah, we had like
100.
50.
Was it 50?
Yeah, I just bought a 50 pack. So I would say that was something, because the lighter still has fluid. It still works. And you know how to use a lighter.
Yeah, I'm a witch.
So if the candle doesn't burn at all, cleansing must be done before continuing. Smudge yourself and the room you are focusing in with purification herbs.
Wait, if the candle doesn't work at all?
Yeah. If the candle will not burn at all.
I'd get a different candle.
Yeah. But she's saying you should smudge yourself in the room. Use white sage or mugwort to cleanse yourself of negative energies.
Well, now if you're in the middle of doing spell work and you bust out some white sage to clear yourself, then you've got to go through all the trouble of replacing all the energy in the room.
Yeah.
You're going to have to put all the intention back into your spell work. Like when you burn sage, you guys, it clears out all energy.
Yeah, it doesn't just get rid of bad energy.
It clears out all of it.
There's none.
So that would get rid of all the, in my opinion, that would clear out all the intention you had put into that candle, getting it ready, writing your spell paper and everything.
Yeah. That's why when like with my altar, my stuff's all right there, because mine's an old Hoosier cabinet that has drawers and all that. Your spell box, your witch box, is usually within arm's reach.
Yeah.
So that we can just be like, okay, that candle's a dud.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll, like, once the wick burns, I don't know what happens, like, what's above the wax burns. What's under the wax can't, like, the wax doesn't melt away properly or something.
We've
and there's
even
just
taken
nothing.
a case knife
Yeah, thanks.
in the middle of doing magic and dug some of the wax out around the wick and relit it.
You're talking about like a case knife?
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of some other term that I used around Easter.
What was that?
When I was deboning the turkey.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I said, I'm going to debone this turkey, and she's like, what? she didn't even try to make a joke out of it. She was just so like, what?
Yeah.
Say.
So then I mentioned it to my husband.
Have you ever heard of deboning a turkey?
And he looked at me like, what the fuck?
And I don't know if that's like just something that has always been said in my family again. Like, I don't know. But it's where, like, you've already ate your holiday dinner, and now you have this big fucking bird. So, and instead of just keeping that in the fridge and taking up a bunch of space, you take your hands and you pull all the meat off of the carcass.
Uh-huh.
And that has always been called deboning the bird.
Shouldn't it be de-meating the bird?
I don't know. Deboning the bird is what...
Deboning?
Deboning, yeah.
You know, yes, I was born and raised in West Virginia.
You're like, we're from two different West Virginias.
I'll admit, you were raised a lot more backwoods than I was.
Well, like I said, you were... Okay, in Pratt, you were what? 20 minutes from Charleston, if that.
Well, we grew up running around up on the mountain and everything.
But you went to the mall.
I almost died.
You went to the mall and all that shit too. Like that, like it was perfectly normal for you to be like, I'm just going to go to the mall all day.
And we weren't swimming in a sewage creek.
Where I'm from, a majority of people didn't go to the mall for the first time until it was on a school trip. Like richer people in the community, yeah, they're like, oh, let's go to Charleston.
She was raised... Like, the war didn't even make it down there.
Yeah, the Civil War didn't touch Webster. It wasn't Webster County at the time, but...
People that were, like, running away, like, they had been in the military.
And they were defecting.
They were leaving the military and running away. They would go hide in Webster County.
Yeah.
Because they knew the military wouldn't find them there.
Yeah. There's no easy... Even today, with paved roads, there's no easy way to get into Webster County.
No.
You're traversing mountains either way.
Like, every time you tell me you're going down there to visit, I'm like, are you sure? You're going to be worn out for 3 fucking days. And might even get depressed because that's a long drive.
Yeah.
You end up driving a total of about 5 hours.
Yeah. Between 4 and 5 hours,
That's a lot.
Both ways.
And then we're on the phone.
Well, total.
We're on the phone the whole time. And we have to call each other back like 5 or 6 times.
What's weird though is when I'm going into Webster County, the call only drops maybe 4 or 5 times. Driving out of Webster County, it drops like every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we both from West Virginia, but 2 different West Virginias.
But I like it when you've been down there because then you can regale me with tales of Burgoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weren't they mad because they lost a contest recently? Where they entered a contest to...
Oh, no, that was Webster.
Webster? Okay.
That was and they entered, because it was, I guess, like the home, like HGTV or whatever, is a show where they're going to come and revitalize your hometown. And Webster Springs...
why they didn't pick Webster?
Well, they submitted their tape after the deadline.
Well, plus they didn't want to have to drive all the way down to fucking West.
Well, and there's going to have to be, like, any of those shows, like the where they redo the home, like all of that, you have to be in an area where they're going to be able to get the workforce and the supplies to do that kind of thing. Now, we do have an Ace Hardware there in Webster Springs. But it's not like Lowe's, you know?
You don't have like a CL Klaus down there.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I grew up in a very isolated. Even today, if you want to watch a movie, you're going to drive like an hour and a half.
to get there.
To get to the nearest theater. So, there are 2 grocery stores in the whole county, and they're owned by the same person. You know,
like when I was down there, and I stopped. Oh, what? I don't know how this conversation came up. You know, people just talk to me, and I don't want them to.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed this lady had a really pretty, gorgeous diamond ring. It was huge. I was like, "Oh my God, I love your ring."
Ow, get down.
She's like, "Yeah, some druggie came in and sold it to me for $10 because they needed to go get some pills or something." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
You're like,
That's Webster.
So then I happened to see this person again when I was down there again, and I had on one of my really pretty rings. And she kept looking at my ring and looking at me, and she'd wink at me and wiggle her eyebrows. And I'm like, "No, I am not selling you my ring for pills or..."
I'm not a druggie. I don't need it.
Like $10, whatever.
My husband bought me this ring. He has a job. Anyway, let's get back to candles. So yeah, if the candle doesn't burn at all, I mean, there's many reasons why that may not be happening. You know.
Yeah.
I think that it would have to be a pretty special paranormal circumstance for me to be like, yeah, there's something up with this candle other than just being cheap and
Yeah.
Burning on only one side.
What?
Yeah, like I guess if like, I don't know how that would even be possible.
We're talking about a single wick candle. Is
or
she talking
maybe
about where the wax
maybe
just
where it
melts on
melts
one
it
side?
away. Yeah, maybe that's what she's talking about. She says, expect only a partial response or an incomplete spell to happen. This could leave things unresolved or unsettled in daily matters. The type of candle could have been the culprit. Refocus your intention, find a better candle, and try the process again for better results. She has to be talking about like it burnt, like it melting away.
Has to be.
Because there's no way only half a wick is going to be lit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not going to happen. And I would not look at that as anything at all. I wouldn't. You know, it could be that there was a draft on one side of the candle that kept it just cool enough that it didn't melt. You know, there's many reasons why that could happen. If your altar is exposed to direct sunlight, the sunlight is going to make your candles softer and they're going to burn differently. So, burning with multiple flames. 2 or more flames could single a can.
Oh, we're talking about one candle. With
One
wicks.
candle. I think she's talking like if it catches fire in another section of the candle. I don't know. Let me read it. Maybe it'll make sense. 2 or more flames on a single candle could indicate that someone is either working alongside you or against you. It's a coin toss. Depending on your intentions, it could mean either unity or separation. If you have 2 different sources of flame in a candle and it's a 1 wick candle, then whatever is burning it might be an herb. It could be,
Well, that's happened where our herbs have caught on fire.
Yeah. But I'm not going to put any special meaning to that. If you've put a lot of oil on your candle, then you may have like a little pool of oil that catches on fire, but it's going to burn out once it burns it up, you know.
She keeps mentioning outside influences on your magic. I never worry about that because I don't tell anybody about the magic I'm working unless, like...
Well, and if you've cast a circle, that's supposed to keep that out as well.
Like, say somebody, I ask, like you, like, hey, I'm going to work towards this. Can you light a candle for it too?
Yeah.
But I only tell people that I truly trust not to have negative thoughts into what bad things
or to doubt it, anything like that.
Like if I'm doing magic and asking somebody to help me give my magic some oomph, it's somebody that I know is pagan as fuck and has no doubt in their
and they want the
working.
same things that you want
right
for yourself. If this was the case, then all of our candles pretty much should have had dual flames in them, because we are always working magic alongside each other.
Yeah.
I mean, always. So I don't know if it's just she's reaching. We've talked about this before, that sometimes it's like these websites that you find, they're straining to find words just so they have a full article.
I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Our similarities are. Last night, I'm not going to tell anybody what the conversation was.
Oh yeah, we have some freaky mind connection.
Do you remember what we were messaging about right before you went to sleep?
Yeah.
Do you know after we got off the phone?
You had that problem?
Not that specific problem. I stood up off the love seat and my right ass cheek started spasming and I could hardly even fucking walk.
Now people are going to be wondering what we were talking about that involves your ass cheek.
And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I don't mind telling them about it. I don't care. We talk about everything else. So I was so constipated last night.
Oh my God.
Basically, by the time I was done, my legs hurt, my ankles hurt.
Didn't your feet go numb or something?
Yeah, my feet went numb, and muscles were twitching that I didn't know I had used.
She's sending me gifts of horses giving birth.
Yeah, I told her, I said that the turd that came out was so big it was like a baby. So I sent her,
and we named it.
Yeah, Flo, because I flushed her away.
I won't tell them what I said after that. People get mad at me.
I sent you a picture of a baby stuck in a toilet. But that's how freaky connected we are. And that's not just, we talk about this all the time. I randomly fixed a vegetarian stew with potatoes and carrots and
with
onions
beef stew seasoning on it.
Yeah, with beef stew seasoning on it. And she just out of nowhere was like, bitch would like to have some stew.
I made a big, yes, crock pot.
So she made some.
We will dress in the same colors without planning it.
Yeah.
We look alike when we dress, and it's stupid. Because
you put a lot more thought into dressing than what I do. So when that happens, it's because I'm picking up, because you're not getting it from me.
No.
I mean, look at me today. I'm wearing blue, but it's not matching colors of blue.
It's two different shades of blue.
So if this was a thing, we would have dual flames on all of our candles, because we are stupidly connected.
I wish I could come up with more examples of us doing the same thing without talking.
I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah. I won't know you're not feeling good.
Yeah.
Say you have migraine and didn't tell me, my head will be hurting. Mm-hmm. I'll mess you up and be like, God damn, my head's been killing me all day. And you'll be like, I'm sorry, it's my fault.
Yeah, well, my head's hurting. I mean, it's ridiculous. We need to start really keeping track of that, so we can do a podcast on that, because there is a thing called the group mind.
Yeah.
And it's something that's supposed to happen in covens and really close, groups and stuff like that. I don't know if you could call us a group. But
we're a duo.
we definitely have a very connected mental energy field. I'll say it that way. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the next one is the candle explodes.
We've done that.
And or catches something on fire.
You've done that.
Yeah.
Wasn't it yourself?
Yeah. Be very careful. Either someone... Oh, see? And she's so doom and gloom. She says either someone is attacking you, or the person you're attacking is protected from harm and the spell has been reflected back at you.
You're like, bitch, I was standing too close to my candle.
Yeah. You and I look at that anytime that we've ever really big flame, or we've exploded something that fuck yeah.
We take that as a sign
our energy was off the hook.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's just, that was the last one. I think that you need to, because you and I, we're not these witches that think everything's a sign.
No.
And that every animal, we'll even see animals that it's not normal to see it. Right now, the falcon.
Yeah. I have a mating pair of peregrine falcons behind my house, and they have babies.
and they're not like one.
Oh, I never thought to look that up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're endangered, right?
They were on the verge of being endangered.
Okay.
But now we looked online and DNR says there's only one mating pair in the whole state.
And you know it's not your pair.
No.
So there's 2 pairs. But so here's this rare, on the verge of being endangered species. And you didn't automatically say, "Oh,
I didn't think of it till just now.
This is a sign." We're not that type of witch. Now me finding a frog on a hot July day burning on my sidewalk when there's not a lick of water anywhere near my house, that to me was a sign.
One time I was at a drive-thru, and this was when I was still in the other group. I had the biggest crow I've seen in my life land on the hood of my car and start screaming at me.
Like, hey!
Yeah.
Hey!
Now to me, like it's looking right at me, just like, bleh!
Yeah.
So I got hold of our higher ups, whatever you want to call it, management. And
upper management.
In the witch group. And I was all excited, because to me, that was a sign.
Yeah.
And I told them about it. And they didn't even really react. They're just like, that hurt my feelings. Because if it had been one of them,
yeah,
they would have been like, oh.
Well, and I think that because they very, very heavily worship and followed the Morrigan.
Yeah.
And blackbirds, ravens, crows, like that's all connected to her.
Eels. If you have an eel show up.
I wanted an eel. Like we've talked about that.
I told you no.
Yeah. But, I think that, because they were very much like that, if you're a lower degree or not even degreed yet, like you're an initiate, a dedicant, like whatever, what happened to you was not as magical as what would happen to them.
I agree with that, yeah.
So
I'm not agreeing that that's like accurate.
That's their outlook on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's probably what that was about, but I don't know. I think that, with magic, it would be very easy to look for signs in everything. So then everything's a sign, so nothing means anything.
Yeah. You
and I are very, we're going to, look at this objectively. Yeah. Before we decide that, hey, maybe. And even then when we're like if we are okay, that's a sign, and then we'll go look it up, and we're like, well, it doesn't really connect with anything.
Yeah.
So then we're like, maybe it wasn't a sign,
it's cool. I get excited when I do get signs. But then when you look it up to find out what it means.
Yeah. It may not connect.
Vague. It's like, what the fuck? I always wait. Because spirits talk to me a lot. And I get so frustrated because they never just say, okay, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Do A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And then this is what's going to happen.
Well, because they're not linear.
Yeah.
Spirits are not linear like we are as live beings.
And it's frustrating.
Spirits, they're seeing everything. They're seeing your past decisions. They're seeing your future decisions. They're seeing what you should do right now. So when they give advice, it's not that ABCD,
I get frustrated.
And we've talked a lot about how when bad things happen, or maybe not necessarily bad things, but things that you don't agree with or you didn't like, that if you just give it some time, there's a reason why that happened.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah. We were talking about, just with this whole COVID-19 stuff.
Yeah.
I had been in between jobs. I had been fired from the one job, for being a witch. And I was trying to get another job.
Which is so illegal, by the way.
Right. I was trying to get another job. And the person that I knew that I thought would hire me back was kind of dragging her feet. And I think she was doing it out of spite.
I still agree that she was doing it out of spite.
And I ended up getting hired at this other place and didn't get to work for her. And we were like, oh, it's more money, it's more stable, so it's great. And that was a good thing. But now with this whole COVID-19 stuff, it's if I had been working for her, I wouldn't have any money right now.
Yeah, you'd be living with me.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like there's many reasons why things happen. Even me being fired from the other job, as horrible as it was, what I'm in now, I'm making $15,000 more a year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even things that we
and
don't...
the job's easier.
And it's so fucking... I watch Netflix half the time.
And you don't put hardly any mileage on your car.
No.
Now your car's going to last you forever.
Yeah. But, so that was a sign. The way I was fired and how horrible it was, that was a sign from the universe that something better is coming.
Yeah.
But because I looked at the negative aspects of it, I didn't see it for what it was.
Yeah.
So, you have to be careful. And especially with flame and candles, there's so many reasons why a candle could be acting the way it's acting. It doesn't mean there's a spiritual meaning.
This goes back to something you almost said preached about, like you're a pastor.
On the fourth day, God said, we need a platypus.
This goes back to something you talked about a long time ago, where people need to trust their magic and not have a set picture of what it's going to look like when the universe gives it to you.
When we first started doing magic together, how often did I have to say that before you,
Yeah. I'm like, no, I want somebody to pull up to my front door with a wheelbarrow full of $100 bills.
Yeah.
And they all have to be facing the same direction.
Well, and I mean, it's because I was thinking too when we were talking about the signs. Remember that the whole turtle thing? There was a turtle in your driveway, and Ken's the one that found it. And I was talking about like, is that a sign? And I'm like, I think it's a sign that he needs to slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
And I was like, and didn't I think I remember even saying, like, if he doesn't slow himself down, the universe is going to slow him down. And look what happened.
I like having him home now.
Yeah.
First I was going to kill him.
Well,
now I have a new bathroom. I'm about to have a new laundry room.
You have shelves in your pantry in the kitchen.
Yeah, and I have new things in the laundry. I got new floors.
He's took down some troublesome trees.
Oh God, he's taking down all the yard's getting landscaped. He's taking down that old shed and he's going to build a new one. He's about to build me a new huge ass enclosed porch off our bedroom, and so I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it being home.
And he looks a lot better.
He does. You were just talking to him earlier.
Yeah.
Have you noticed he can stand better and stuff?
You're like, he's not almost falling over with exhaustion.
He looks to me.
Yeah.
Kid is 13 years older than me. So he's always going to look older than me. But to me, he even looks younger.
Yeah.
Now that he's resting and stuff.
So, yeah, I mean, it's...
Plus, he's running around outside with his shirt off a lot. And
yeah.
I always like that.
You did have to have a discussion with him, though, about his ice cream habits.
Okay, guys.
Because it was starting to show.
Okay, he has... he's fully functional. He's
I like how you let me just preface that by saying
he's not like a quadriplegic or anything.
Yeah,
he can still do anything he wants to do, but he has had his back broken twice. So in his lumbar, he has a rod fused to his spine. So the doctors have always, and Ken's a slender guy, naturally, and the doctors always told him his saving grace with his back has been that he's not a heavy guy. That he's thin. Well, since he'd been home, not working because of his latest injury, he's. I even sent you a picture of him shoveling ice cream in his mouth. He was starting to gain some in his belly.
He was eating a lot.
So he took my daughter fishing, and he had his shirt off, and she snapped a picture of him from the side while he was casting his line, and she sent it to me, and I sent it to you, and you're like, oh my God, you weren't kidding. So now he's not a lot fat or anything, but
he had a little bit of pooch going.
Yeah, so I showed him that picture and all the stuff.
And it wasn't like you showed him like, look at your belly. You were just like, look, Maddie took a picture of you.
Yeah, and he was like, oh my God.
And he saw it.
And so now he is losing. Can you tell from looking at it? Which makes me sick that he can lose that easily.
You know, most men can kind of just be like, you know what? I'm just going to stop doing what I'm doing. And then lose weight.
I just don't want his back to be in danger.
Yeah.
If he starts carrying more weight on his stomach, that's all.
And I will point out that like when all of the eating was happening, it was because he was freshly hurt.
Yep.
And he wasn't able to do all the stuff that you've said he's done.
Yeah.
You know, that stuff that, like, the bathroom, oh my God. Like, it took him a month.
I love
Because, you know, he is hurt. He's not able to work. So it's like he would do one little thing in that bathroom, and then he couldn't do anything for a week.
Yeah.
And then he'd go and do something else in the bathroom, and then he'd have to stop for 4 or 5 days. And
have you noticed that was during physical therapy? The physical therapy was making him hurt more.
Yeah.
And now that he's not... The doctor was like, physical therapy is clearly not helping you.
Yeah.
So ever since they stopped, he's able to do more.
Yeah. Driving.
He can't... Driving my Jeep fucks him up.
Driving her Jeep. You kind of smash that all together, so it kind of sounds like driving my Jeep.
Sorry, I've been around my daughter too long.
Yeah.
Too long. When she talks, it's like... Blah, 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 blah. It's like,
and you're like,
what?
Slow down. Separate your words. Yeah.
But it fucks up his neck.
Yeah.
Again, it makes it worse. So he's been having to drive his truck everywhere, and he's fine. But
Yeah. And that's expensive.
it is.
It's a big ass truck.
It just made me realize he just drove my Jeep home from your house.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. We've done a little bit of rambling.
I know there's other shit I want to talk about, but my nose holes are swelling shut, and I can't think right.
Did you take your medicine this morning?
I did.
Is it the air conditioning? Maybe. You're like, it's my nasal
It's
passages.
just who I am as a person. Ever since I got pregnant with my second child,
Yeah.
my right nose holes will shut. I don't know.
You're like, it's weird.
I have no explanation.
But you guys can expect more podcasts now that the governor has lifted our stay-at-home order.
Just a warning, guys. I'm going to try to talk her into doing just 2 a month instead of 4. Her face! Because we don't have anything to talk about anymore. Like,
I will find stuff. Just 2 a month?
What about 3? 2.5.
How are we going to do that? How do you do 2.5 podcasts a month?
You let me do one.
Yeah, true. True. Well, we'll see. I'm not going to comment on it.
How about, like...
You're not going to bully me into a decision on air.
Every other month we do 2.
Well, I'm not going to agree anything.
Oh, and by the way, guys, everybody seems to think she bullies me.
Yeah. If anything, you bully me.
I bully the fuck out of you.
Yeah. But what's funny is, like, when you do bully me, though, it's always for my own good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm just going to be mean and just be mean, you know. Like every time I look really nice and put together, she's been behind it. She's like, you know, you need to buy this kind of bra.
But she bitched the whole way to get there.
And she's like, I'm going to force you to try on these clothes, you know, like this clothing. So, you know, when she does bully me, it is for my own benefit. So
that's right. Your boobs thank me. I remember when you first noticed the picture. I had been after you to get a bra.
Yeah.
Like, let's get a bra. No.
Yeah.
Then you saw that photo. You're like, oh my god,
it was horrible.
My titties.
and like, because the angle of the photo was bad. Like, it was pointing down, so it made them look even lower than what they were in reality.
It made it look like the grandmother of Squidbillies.
Thanks. I wouldn't have said it was that bad. Jeez Louise. All right.
You're like, I'm not even gonna finish what I was saying.
God. They're better now.
They're much better.
Yeah. But
they're where they're supposed to be.
Thanks. And it's just because, like, one, they are big. Okay. They're big. They're naturally big, so they're not going to be perky, you know. But I did lose a lot of weight. So you lose weight, like, at least I lose weight in my titties. You know, like, that's one of the first places that...
I used to.
Yeah. You can't afford to lose much.
No.
So...
I wouldn't have any. I'm happy with what I've got, but I don't want them any smaller.
I went from a D cup to a C cup. That's how much weight I lost in my titties.
This is a C cup, but I think they're lying.
I think they are,
I think
too.
it's a B.
Because this is a C. Like, what I have on right now is a C.
I think it's a lie.
Yeah. Lies. All right, guys.
Whoa, I'm not done talking about
you're
my
like,
titties.
wait a minute. You're like, I don't want people to think my titties are small.
When I get measured at Victoria's Secret,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a B. But what I like the bras at Lane Bryant because they have the really wide band on the back.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't look like you have a lot of back fat hanging over your
So
strap.
like it contains the back fat.
It does.
Yeah.
But so when I get bras there, they measure me at a C. So I just think their bras are sized differently, like with jeans and all that type thing. So I really don't know what size I am, but I know it's not no full C cup.
Yeah. I knew a girl.
But I have scoliosis. So I don't need no great big old titty.
Because every woman, their breasts there's a little bit of a difference between one breast and the other.
Yes.
Mine, I don't really notice it, but I'm sure that there is.
Oh, yeah. We had a whole discussion about how your titties were
pretty much perfect.
The same.
Yeah.
And I got angry and called my mother and yelled at her for for my boobs not being exactly the same.
But I know a woman who literally a cup size different between one and the other.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like she has one that's like a D and then the other one's a C.
Wow.
Yeah.
She'll laugh at me, guys, because I'll be on the phone with her while I'm vacuuming, and she'll be like, "You're vacuuming left-handed, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because I'm always trying to build up the muscle behind the left one.
Didn't your husband point that out to you or something, or
no?
What did he say?
Oh, he would never say anything that made me think.
No. Like I think you said something to him about it. I don't remember now. I'll remember it later. But
okay. He
said it was something, and you were like, "Fuck you," or what was that? It was about your boobs.
There was a couple days there where he was just throwing out some zingers, and you always happened to be on the phone when it happened. I think that's why he was doing it.
And I'm like, oh.
I think that's why he was doing it, because you were on the phone.
Yeah. Anyway, let's close this up. We're just talking. We're just
rambling. They don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's been such a long time. So we're going to record more podcasts. We will have a discussion off air about what that's going to look like.
She gave me a little shitty ass look.
You guys can let us know in the group if you think that we need to keep doing 4 a month.
Yeah, do a poll.
I'll do a poll. So you've been listening to the Feather and Bone podcast. You can find us on the internet. We still have a website, featherandbone.net. There you can get access to the podcast and some other fun stuffs. I haven't really updated that site in a while, so I don't know.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I may end up just getting rid of that website.
No! Oh.
I pay $14 a month for it. And I don't know, like, I'll put that too if they want us to keep the website. I haven't done anything on it, though.
Does anybody even look at it?
Yeah. Well, I haven't looked at the stats on it recently either. That's another thing we'll have to discuss off air. But as of right now, this podcast, it does exist. So you can go look at it. Now we're just randomly talking about stuff. If you guys
want her to keep the website, you better start going.
I haven't changed it though. Like, what's the point of them keep going to it if there's nothing new on there?
If they want to buy a reading.
True. All right.
Look at this.
I'm RavenWynd.
I'm Rain.
That's a good picture of my cat.
I'm photographing her cat right now.
We will catch you next time.
Maybe.
Remember. Maybe. Remember.
I'm just kidding.
It's magic, motherfuckers.